I lost the game, and it was fun. Now, this is going to sound like an excuse, but I did underestimate these guys, and it's been a long time since I've gone against a decent group of survivors who group up. But despite all that, I think this will be a very interesting game to look at, a lot more interesting than a lot of the games I get, because this team was very coordinated and they did some pretty smart stuff that I haven't seen in a long time. And also, I made some pretty big shameful mistakes. Let's get into it. First, let's get into the build. Pretty much a AI focused build where I just throw in a bunch of units and hope they carry me. Yeah, it didn't really work, but that's the build. Okay, so first things first, I don't have the full game because instant replay only lasts for 20 minutes and I don't always record and, you know, stuff like that. I don't always expect the game to do everything. But anyway, pretty much all I was doing was throwing units around and not really trying to kill them. And I didn't go into possession because I was pretty set out on going portal, messing about. And yeah, this is all that happened. I was just throwing portals. Definitely had a few good possession opportunities. They weren't 100% grouped up all the time. I possessed the survivors here and there when their fear went up. But yeah, other than that, they had free reign pretty much. They were just looting non-stop. And they had an Ed on their team. And here is where we finally get onto the objective. So here's when I was sort of starting playing. I was starting to use everything in my arsenal as a demon. But I was making some pretty sad mistakes, or I don't know if I was still underestimating, but you know, bad plays. But yeah, put the flute in a pretty good spot. They didn't bother going for the flute. And out came the boss. So I decided to focus the warrior. Trying to bait a dodge, he did not fall for anything, but he did take a heavy hit. And then like, here's one mistake, why am I all the way in nowhere? So yeah, they killed the boss really quickly, but it was a mistake on my part, just going out. I think I went out of my flute range, which made me pretty much squishier. And here I'm just swinging randomly. Again, maybe I was still kind of messing about, underestimating, but still, don't go around swinging randomly. There was not really any plan here. Kind of just hoping the units would do a lot more to get some nice hits. The warriors were pretty good at keeping their distance, but again here, there's just no plan, and I keep using the trident. Stop using the trident. Did get some hits in, but they cleared out all my units very efficiently. So then I was just throwing one unit at a time and they were dealing with it pretty well. I came throwing my trident. Why am I doing this? I'm gonna be pretty hard on myself probably, but... And then the Shash decided not to bother dodging anymore. He just didn't care anymore. And yeah, that's it. They won this round of a fight. And then yeah, obviously went back to try and harass them. They started getting a lot of legendary weapons suddenly. Trying to hit the warrior, got some damage on the warrior with the boss, but my boss died quite quickly again. And outside the objective, it was pretty hard to do any damage and keep up the pressure, but you know, I was making the hunter use some resource, I guess. You know, he was shooting and I did get some hits here and there on the support. But outside the objective, it was hard doing anything really. They're also very smart, staying away from traps by just going in the open area. So they didn't have to worry about their fear and killing each other. I felt like the only survivors I could get damage on was on the warriors. They were pretty smart. They'd dodge the heavy attacks, but take the light attacks. Not to mention I didn't last very long possessing these basics. But I was slowing them down and getting value doing this. So I did stop them from looting too much, but they were very good at keeping me at bay, especially with all those legendary axes and weapons. And then we started progressing to the second objective, and I'd say I did a lot better here last time. I was a bit, you know, sticking to the survivors, not swinging at the air as much. I think maybe I took it a tiny bit more seriously. Alright, so had a massive setup, and in came the boss again. So I had a lot more focus this time, made sure I stuck to one survivor, did not bother with that Ed, and knew he just dodged the hell out of me. Again, cancelling my heavies with other animations. Then I decided to throw lights because they were dodging pretty well. To get as much value as I could. Too large of the chaos. And the AI came in clutch with that little hit, so sometimes I feel like that's kind of the demon's RNG, is the AI, while survivors is what they pick up. And I managed to get the support. I think that was a very good play. She probably didn't expect that one attack, because what she likes to do is dodge and then just sprint away. And then when it got to this part, it was just them pretty much running away a lot of the time. And here, I think, I started making some mistakes. Again, throwing my trident here and there. I mean, it's not terrible, but when I was throwing it, I was very obvious. I was being very obvious about it. And I should have gone for a bit more of a hit and run style. Here, I went off to place my flute and threw way too many units. I don't think throwing units was going to be helpful anymore. Because I can see now, that Ash was taking advantage of those thrown units by using iframes. My arm fell off, had to unpossess. So generally better, but that was a mistake of throwing too many units for no reason. Getting value out of that one ability, I feel like you never see that. And yeah, that was like, it kind of looked like I was going to win this, eh? And then we were back outside the objective, trying to kill them, or at least harass them as much as I can, make sure they don't get too many resources back. And again, getting very little value out of it. But, you know, I was making them use ammo. Surprisingly, the Ed still had quite a bit of ammo, even after all that. And then I placed my foot on one side of inside the castle, which is a smart thing to do, but they were pretty smart and went on the opposite side of the dark ones. So they were avoiding a lot of my they were avoiding the flute buff pretty much. And yeah, just trying to get damage to my units. Not very successful though. Units weren't really working for me at all. And for some reason I never wanted to possess these survivors. I had plenty of chances to possess the survivors. That's what I should have been doing. But I finally decide to. And I go for the Cheryl. Murder her, because Legendary Axe and Mia being the strongest hitting warrior we've ever had in our lives. Then I try to go for the Ed. Probably would have been a better play going for the Ash, as he wouldn't dodge that much. Ed dropped his weapon. Ed was pretty keen on dropping his weapon. I guess that's just the hunter mentality. Ash dropped his weapon. Everyone dropped their weapon. The moment they saw me possess one of them, everyone dropped their weapon. And then I brought out the boss. Managed to kill Ash. Get a really good grab on the Ed. And things looked really good here. But then I just made this massive mistake. Like, I honestly can't believe this is me playing this game right now. Swinging at an Ed with boss Ash. Don't do this. What I should have done is kept pressure on that Mia, who had Cheryl's soul. And from here things just went downhill. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That was my last chance of winning. They had their weapons dropped, they were more prepared. Ed made sure his weapon drop was all Ed made sure his weapon was dropped all the time. Finished the book. Not finished the book. Finished the Dark Ones. I threw in way too many units. And I guess another thing is I rarely get to this stage. So I guess I kind of forgot that you can't hit the book. Not to mention I was very inefficient with my final energy. And yeah, I got no damage on that. Definitely made some big mistakes, but it was impossible after this. Book is no longer viable for Necromancer in any way, especially if you let survivors get this ahead. I didn't even get a hit there. To be fair, I did not throw the flute straight away. That was also another mistake, you know. Should have thrown that flute. This is what happens when you play so many games against, I guess, solo queuers who have no idea what they're doing. Might have been different if I started harassing them a lot earlier, changed my build up. As you can see, I got 2 hits there because of the flute, so there you go. And yeah, this was like the first game I lost in such a long time. Shows that there's still a lot of things I can improve on. And I wish I got more games like this instead of, I don't know, ending my games in 10 minutes. And sometimes survivors will just die to AI. So maybe this would be an OMR system. Not saying I want all my games to be super sweaty, but wouldn't mind going against a group of survivors who just grouped up at least. But I will probably not play against a squad like this ever again for the next 50 games. It was definitely a fun game. Definitely a once in a lifetime squad, and yeah.
We will gather our strength and reclaim our reign. Vengeance! Vengeance will be ours!